And then Benjamin Franklin turned to John Adams and said, "We must all hang together, we shall all hang separately." This saying got famous really fast, just like Sock It To Me is today.
That's wonderful, Jonathan.
You're a shoo-in, Jonathan. That composition will win the history contest hands down.
You think it's good enough to win, Mom?
Oh, I think it's excellent. And even if you don't win, it's still a great honor to be in the finals. May I suggest one little change?
No?
No?
Gee, Mom, the rules say you have to write the composition yourself. That's right, Mom.
You're absolutely right. You've done it all yourself. Let's keep it that way, huh?
He doesn't need any help anyway. You're gonna win.
Mom, will you be sad if I don't win?
Oh, of course not. You just remember one thing. It's not whether you win or lose, but how you play the game.
Good luck, lad. What was it you said about winning and losing not mattering?
Oh, something some 20th century wise men said.
A 19th century wise man said, "I've won and I've lost, and winning is better."
What 19th century wise man said that?
Me.
Kids be home from school by now.
I know they are running late.
Well, maybe Jonathan lost the contest and he's ashamed to come home.
Oh, now, Martha, I think we're all carrying on a little too much about this contest. I mean, it just isn't that important. Poor Jonathan, he must have lost. Well, come on, let's make it easier for him. Be casual, cheerful.
Anyone going to ask?
Jonathan, is there something you want to tell me?
Yes, Mom, I won.
Oh, Jonathan, I'm so sorry. But don't feel badly. I'm sure that... You what?
I won!
No, just a minute. Just what did you win?
An encyclopedia. And Danny Shoemaker won a pen and pencil set.
Listen, are you going to have a ceremony at school?
No, there's going to be a party Friday at the Lobster House.
Oh.
And the PTA is going to be there, and the Chamber of Commerce. And guess who's giving us the prizes?
Who?
Rutledge Adams, a relative of John Adams.
A distant relative, I take it.
I have to read my winning composition in front of grown-ups.
Well, I want you to know we're all very proud of you, Jonathan. Martha, and Candy, and Scruffy. All of us.
Very important. Order, please. Order, please. Quiet, please. People, please, quiet. You're all out of order. Now, I cannot proceed unless there is order. Please, people, order. You see what you made me do? Now, We have all agreed on the menu.
Well-
Is that correct? Now, it's shrimp. It is shrimp. And the opening with an entrance by the Schooner Bay Drum and Bugle Corps. And then we'll get right to business with the invocation. I'll do that.
Would you mind a suggestion, Claymore?
You're out of order, Nori. I didn't recognize you.
Well, you should recognize me, Claymore. You've known me for 20 years.
Nori, when you say something, you must call for a point of order.
Point of order.
No, now call.
Point of order.
Good. Now you see the chair recognizes Nori.
Well, I think that Calvin Bedford should give the invocation.
Why?
He's the minister.
Very well. Now, the Pledge of Allegiance is next, and of course, I will lead that.
Point of order.
You've used up all your points of order. The Pledge of Allegiance is next. Then after my opening remarks,
Mayor should give the opening remarks, Claymore.
the whole idea of a history contest was my idea. I am the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Now, after my opening remarks, we will have the awarding of the prizes. I, of course, will present the runner-up
Well,
award.
Claymore, Mr. Rutledge Adams should do that.
You're forgetting that I provided the pen and pencil set? Mr. Adams, you wouldn't mind if I presented the runner-up award to the shoemaker boy, would you?
Not at all, Mr. Gray.
See that? Do you hear that?
Hello, Nora. I heard you were discussing the presentation ceremony, and I wanted to make a suggestion. Don't you think it would be a good idea if the runner-up recited his composition, too?
Well, now, really, Mrs. Shoemaker, you see,
I just came from the school, and the judges have promised that they'd review Danny's composition. It's really quite good. Of course, his mother's not a writer.
Mrs. Shoemaker, I think the gentleman and Mr. Adams will agree that there isn't time for another recitation.
Is this Rutledge Adams? Oh, it's such a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Adams. Danny, this is Rutledge Adams, a descendant of John Adams.
John Adams, soldier and statesman, second president of the United States. Every school child thrills to the mention of his name. Who can forget how he planned the Boston Tea Party? He was George Washington's first vice president. Then in 1785, Benjamin Franklin and John Adams worked on a treaty. This was in France.
Jonathan, try to relax. Smile.
And use your hands.
Keep your head up. All I could see was the top of it. Then in 1785, Benjamin, I can't.
Can't what?
Hold my head up, relax, smile, use my hands, and talk.
You're right, and you're doing beautifully. I think that's enough rehearsing for today. Now, you go on.
And for being such a good speaker, I say you have a cup of hot chocolate coming.
What about me?
You two for being such a good listener. Not you. You dozed.
You missed the rehearsal, Captain.
Deliberately, madam. I want to wait for the actual ceremony.
Ah. You know, it's such a good composition. It's all about Benjamin Franklin and John Adams. He calls it Patriots and Pals.
Patriots and pals? Adams and Franklin?
Yes. And you know, he worked out the theme very intelligently. It's all about how the country grew through the friendship of these two famous men. It's really very...
Hot chocolate's ready, Mom.
Excuse me.
Captain? Captain? Oh, you have my composition.
Hello there, lad.
How do you like it?
Well, Jonathan, it's well written. Very well written, lad.
It won first prize.
Yes, I know. Congratulations. Jonathan, where did you get all the information about John Adams and Benjamin Franklin?
From the school library.
And the library book said that they were pals?
They were patriots, too.
Yes, they were certainly patriots. But they were by no means pals.
But the book says.
Sometimes books are mistaken, Jonathan. The fact is that Mr. Adams and Mr. Franklin were not too fond of each other.
They weren't?
No.
Did you know them?
Oh, come now, I'm not as ancient as that. I did know Temple Franklin.
Who's Temple Franklin?
Benjamin's grandson. He told me quite a lot about his grandfather and John Adams. See, Jonathan, the fact is that John Adams was somewhat jealous of Benjamin Franklin. Franklin was a much more famous man. And when Adams went to France, he went not so much to assist Franklin as to spy on him.
Spy?
Yes, spy.
Maybe I should change my composition.
Dee, could you pardon me, please?
Excuse me,
Oh,
Nori.
this is lovely. I'd say you're doing an unusual nice job, Muir. It's
Always,
just
you
wonderful.
better get on with it. The dinner crowds do.
All right, fine. People, places, please, everybody. Now, people, mothers, children, gentlemen, please take your places, or we have a limited time. All right, now. After my opening remarks, we come to the introduction of Mr. Adams. And then we will have the first presentation. Oh, Nori, would you give the pen and pencil set to Mr. Adams, please?
Sure will.
Thank you.
Mr. Adams. Now, the runner-up in our county-wide history competition is Danny Shoemaker.
Okay, quickly, hurry.
And now, Danny, your prize is a fine pen and pencil set presented by the Schooner Bay Chamber of Commerce.
Courtesy Greg Realty Company. Phone Scooter Bay 778.
Fine. Yeah, Jenny, very nice, lovely. All right, now, this is important. When I come to the first prize announcement...
Oh, that's my cue. I fetched the cyclopedia.
No.
I don't?
No, you do not, Nori. Now, you come out with the prize after Jonathan's recitation.
Oh.
Mr. Adams, continue, please.
And now, for the moment that we've all been waiting for, the prize-winning composition by Jonathan Muir, Patriots and Pals.
Applause.
Mr. Adams, I changed the title of my story.
Oh?
I did some more research. I got some new facts. Is that all right? The new title is The Scholar and the Schemer by Jonathan Muir. John Adams and Benjamin Franklin were fine Americans. In those days, they were a team. They did a lot for our country together. But I found out that John Adams wasn't very nice to Benjamin Franklin. Sometimes he acted like a real fink.
Did he say think?
Couldn't be. Maybe he said think.
No, I heard him. He said fink. Fink. F-I-N-K.
John Adams told everybody that Franklin was a big spender, lazy, and a liar.
Son, is this the composition that won first place?
I changed it a little just to make it truer.
Do you realize that you've insulted the memory of Mr. Adams's ancestor?
It has a happy ending.
Well, this is not the original composition. I think we ought to call the judge.
Point of order! Point of order! Will you shut up? Keep your place. This is my restaurant and my floor, and I want it open. Point of order!
Well, I've told you, I've already spoken with Jonathan, and he still wants to read The Scholar and the Schemer.
Mrs. Muir, Rutledge Adams is very upset. Schooner Bay stands to lose a lot of money through bad public relations.
Tell her the school board's in a snip.
Mrs. Muir, I demand to know where Jonathan got that irresponsible information.
He got it from you know who.
The boy has to go back to the old composition, Claymore.
I know that. I'll work on him.
Better work fast, Claymore. Ceremony's tomorrow night.
I'll appeal to his good judgment, his sense of honor. And if that doesn't work, I'll offer him a bribe.
Jonathan's Muir got sent home from school today. What did you say about Jonathan? He got sent home from school today. He was in the principal's office and everything. And his history teacher was there, too.
Jonathan's in trouble.
Jonathan's in trouble. Jonathan's in trouble.
Stop that!
Jonathan's in trouble. It's all about that dumb composition, I bet.
I should have won in the first place.
Jonathan's composition was better.
My mother says anybody who'd write such things about John Adams is un-American.
Jonathan's un-American.
Stop it!
It's not. It's a lie.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Mrs. Gilmartin. Goodbye. Hello? Yes, Nori. Nori, I've already heard from those organizations. Yes, and the ladies, too. Nori, I cannot talk to you now. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Martha?
Yes?
I'm afraid you're going to have to man the phone for a while. I've had it. Where's Jonathan?
In his room.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, the Alamo. No, Mrs. Muir isn't here now. She's out looking for a street riot to find some peace and quiet.
They say it's always calm at the eye of a hurricane.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. Isn't it silly the way people are carrying on about something that happened a long time ago?
Captain Gregg says if it's important enough for people to get mad at, it's important enough to fight for.
Oh, well, that's true.
Do you like my new composition, Mom?
Oh, yes, I do, Jonathan.
Then why don't other people like it?
Well, some people like to picture the great men of history as being perfect. And when you showed that John Adams wasn't exactly perfect, I guess they got upset.
But nobody let me get to the good part. The part where I tell everybody when Franklin and Adams worked together for the good of our country. They didn't like each other, but they put our country first.
It's a very, very fine theme, Jonathan.
And it isn't fair for them to take first prize away from me. Is it, Mom?
I guess they think it's fair. Jonathan, suppose I buy you an encyclopedia.
It wouldn't be like winning first prize.
Well, you're going to have to decide which is more important to you. Changing your composition or winning first prize.
Do you want me to go back to the old composition? Do you, Mom?
Well, why don't we think about this some more?
Here he comes. Claymore. Claymore. Everything will be all right. Claymore.
I know, Mr. Maker, but just calm yourself, please, everybody. Just one moment, please. I have just come from a meeting with the judges, and if Jonathan doesn't change his mind by 6 o'clock, he will be disqualified.
Tain't fair, Claymore.
It is fair, Deke. Patriots and Pals was his winning composition. Now he's changed it, so...
That's right. He's disqualified.
Not so quickly, Mrs. Shoemaker. Unless Jonathan goes back to his original composition by, as I said, 6 o'clock, then he will be disqualified. And then we will award first prize to Danny. Uh-oh. That puts a heavy responsibility on your shoulders, son. Do you think you can learn to recite your piece in so short a time?
John Adams, soldier and statesman, second president of the United States. Every school tryout thrills to the mention of his name.
Mrs. Muir, it pains me to see you look so troubled.
But it's just so frustrating. Jonathan needs me, and I don't know how to help him.
The information I gave him seems to have stirred up a bit of a tempest.
Oh, it's not your fault, Captain. I know you meant well.
Well, cheer up, Mrs. Muir. The lad will weather it.
Well, I just hate to see him shoulder all that responsibility.
Yes, I understand what you mean. Still, Jonathan is in the right, and he must stand by the right.
They'll take first prize away from him, and he'll be hurt for being right.
Throughout history, men have been hurt for being right.
Yes, men have. But Jonathan's just a little boy.
Hi, Captain.
Hello, laddie. Everything shipshape?
I guess so.
What have you decided?
I'm gonna stick with what I wrote.
Very good.
If I didn't, I would be like calling you a liar.
Well, we couldn't have that, could we? You won't regret your decision.
Who needs a terrific old encyclopedia anyway?
Small price to pay for defending your principle.
Sure is. We know we're right, don't we?
Of course. I did talk to Benjamin Franklin's nephew.
Nephew? You said Benjamin Franklin's grandson.
I did? Well, then it was his grandson. Perhaps it was his nephew.
Aren't you sure?
Well, of course I'm sure. Have you ever known me not to be sure? The idea. Well, let me think. I've got it. It was Franklin's grandson's nephew. Or was it Franklin's nephew's grandson? No. It was his grandson, Temple. Just as sure as today is Thursday.
Today is Friday.
It is? Oh, dear. I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me, Jonathan. My memory isn't what it should be.
What you told me. It's right, isn't it?
Yes, of course. What did I tell you?
Gee, I thought I could count on you.
I hope you'll forgive an old sea dog for his unreliability.
Now I'm all mixed up.
I have a thought. You could go back to Patriots and Pals and leave out the parts that pertain to the Pals. After all, those two gentlemen did work together. You just tell them that part.
Hey, that's a great idea. I'll do it. You don't remember very well, but you sure come up with great ideas. Come on, Scruffy! Here, come on, Scruffy, come on! Come on, pal! Come on, pal!
Now take these.
I need volume 11. Volume 11.
Well, Captain, all's well that ends well.
Well, let's just say that all's well that ends.
Aren't you happy the way things turned out?
Oh, Mrs. Muir, it was not without price. I'm afraid that Jonathan will never again see me in the same infallible light.
Or perhaps he sees you in a better light. A more human light.
I, human? Mrs. Muir, as a writer, I should think that you would choose your words carefully.
I do.
Hey, Jonathan, what did Danny Shoemaker say when he saw your encyclopedia? He said he liked his pen and pencil set better. You know, when I was young, I thought an encyclopedia was something you could ride.